Jimmy Ford.
Jay Galen, how are you?
Hey, man.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's everything? Good?
How are you guys doing? We want to thank you very much for watching our drum shell myth video.
Right.
We know that it was controversial to a lot in that we, may have rocked some people's worlds and other people are like, wow, thank you. So we have a list of comments that came in and we wanted to go through some of them with you. It's difficult to do a video like that because you're risking some things because people have belief systems.
That's correct.
Yeah. And you could be rocking those belief systems. And we were just trying to demonstrate, and we realized, we're apologizing right now that the audio quality wasn't great. The way we're shooting it and the microphone that we're using isn't the highest fidelity, and we're going to fix that in future videos.
That's right.
And so you'll see.
That's right.
But we wanted to address some of the comments that we got, and like anything, it was like an 80-20 rule. 80% was incredible.
Right.
10% was probably, well, I'm not quite sure. I'm on the fence about this, and 10 was downright hateful. Which is okay.
Right.
Everyone has their opinion about everything,
That's
whether it's
right,
politics or anything else.
We just wanted to, to educate our drumming public, to let them know, so it gives them an idea of the type of instrument that we play. And again, I'll reiterate what we said before, it's a physics instrument. And again...
it's physics, it's geometry, it really does come down to that.
Yeah.
And, we really felt like we proved our point, but let's go through some of it. So Bill Wolf states that, glad you touched on sticks. I use several different sticks, and each style brings a whole new sound to the kit.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
true.
Bill. We appreciate that comment.
Thank you, Bill.
Jeff Holmes said, I've been saying this for years. No one listens to me. That's funny.
Yeah.
Chris Brady said, hey, man, cool dudes. That's great.
Right.
Chris Chilton.
Yes.
In all my years of playing the drum set, 43 years, you don't know how to use a drum key. Even the most expensive drums on the market will sound like dog.
Right.
Okay. We appreciate that comment. We know it wasn't the highest fidelity. In this room, the drums sounded fantastic.
Right.
The microphone we used wasn't the greatest.
But we're going to fix that.
Yeah. But they all sounded great.
That.
They all were tuned in basically the same place, and a 12-inch drum sounded like a 12-inch drum. We promise you. We're not fibbing. When we did the original test when we were at the NAMM show at the Sonar booth, and we brought a dozen guys over, had them turn around, all the 12-inch drums sounded like 12-inch drums, whether they were acrylic, mixed woods or anything else.
Yes.
They did, and no one knew what they were. They just sounded like 12-inch drums.
It was pretty funny.
So, I could tell you all day long the world is round, but if you believe it's flat, then it's flat.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to convince you, and we're not even going to try.
No.
But we do this every day. This is what we do for a living. We make drums, and we repair drums. So, Bruce Stein states, fantastic and informative.
Yeah. That's what we try to do, is we try to be informative. We're not blowing smoke up, what.
Yeah, not a lot of marketing hype here. We just want to build great stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. Chuck Caney, very good info. I'm starting to like you guys. That's good.
Thanks, Chuck.
We
Appreciate it. Yeah, we like you too.
We've been around since 2001, and some people haven't heard of us, and some, a lot of people have, and we'd like more to experience what we're doing because we do it for the love of it. Okay. We're absolutely not getting rich off this. I got news for you. All right. Cleve Warren, very good drum physics. Thanks, Jay and Jimmy.
You're welcome, Cleve.
Rick Picard, wow. Talk about your condescending attitude. I beg to differ. I own 3 kits, all in the same sizes with very different ply layups and ply materials, and they sound very different from one another. Okay. I'm sure they do. I'm sure if they're tuned differently and whatnot, they sound different.
And different heads.
And different heads. But I can take any one of those drum kits and put the same heads on them and tune them basically the same, blindfold you, and I don't think you'd be able to tell too much of a difference.
That's right.
Because it is physics. So we'd love to prove it to you. Love to have you in a room. Love to come over to your house and tune up your drums for you and show you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice to know. Again, I was watching a video of Mike Portnoy.
Oh, okay.
There's a video on YouTube. You guys have to see this. And he's playing a Hello Kitty drum kit. This little tiny Hello Kitty.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Did you see it?
That was hilarious.
And those little Hello Kitty drums sounded fantastic. There was pitch bend in them. I mean, they sounded great. So
it's pretty amazing.
It's a drum. It sounds like a drum. Yes, it's a toy drum set. Probably won't last, but it does sound like a good drum. Mike Kosecki writes, nice job, guys. Looking forward to more.
Thank you, Mike.
We appreciate that. Rich Brashard says, I agree with just about every point you fellas made. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's see. There are lots of others here. probably don't need to get into a lot of this. Oh, this one. This is my favorite one. My drums. Nobody, not even these two twerps, are going to tell me my steel snare sounds like a wood snare. We never said that. All right. We never once talked about that the shell material isn't going to color the shell in a certain way, and in a snare drum more than others, because
Yes,
you're playing
absolutely.
rim shots and things.
Right. Exactly.
But with different hoops and heads and muffling, 14 by 5.5,
Right.
or 14 by 6 or 6.5, the geometry is still going to work the same way.
Yeah, don't forget about snare wires too. I mean, you can take a set of 16 snappy snares, and you'll get more resonance from the drum because the snares are actually letting that bottom head resonate, as opposed to putting a 42 strand. I see so many drummers put 42 strand snares on a snare drum, and these snare drums don't have the snare bed to accommodate
It.
So
It's not going to sound good.
it's not going to sound good. So all you're going to get is buzz, you know. So yeah,
But yeah, snare drums are a little different animal than the rest of the drum kit.
that's true.
They serve a different purpose. It's the centerpiece of the drum kit,
Right.
and the snare wires have a lot to do with it.
Right.
But we've made metal snares that had wood-like characteristics to them. We've made carbon fiber snares that sound very wood-like.
Right.
Aluminum snares with a drier sound to it that
Slightly
sounded.
drier.
Yeah, and then we've made snare drums out of
Corian
cast iron.
and Corian.
Right, cast iron. It had a more of a tingy ping to it, but it still sounded like a 6.5 by 14.
Oh, that's
snare,
because of the sharper bearing edge on it too.
you know. And Corian, our line of
The Stone Age.
Stone Age drums. It falls somewhere between a wood and a metal drum in its character. Made best snare drums in the world list.
That's right.
We're very proud of that.
That's right.
But still, the geometry and the physics of a drum is the geometry and the physics of a drum. That's not going to change. But yes, in a snare drum, the shell material will color it a little bit more than say, another type of material. But if you were listening to a trick drum set, all aluminum shells, in a wood drum set, or an acrylic drum set, and it was well tuned, it would just sound like a 12, 14, 16,
Drum.
It's going to. It's just the nature of the geometry of it.
Exactly. And if you were to put single clear heads on it, it would sound brighter. If you put single coated heads on the drum, it'll
Warm it
up. You put double ply clear heads on it.
It's going to fatten it.
It'll fatten it, so it'll have an open sound too, as well to the drum. It's the way you tune it.
And we have one other comment where a guy said we didn't know what we were talking about, that thicker shell is not louder than a thinner shell.
Not unless, of course, you're playing the drum kit in your bedroom.
Well, at the NAMM show, the NAMM police always come over to the Ford booth, and we've had this comment for several years in a row when we've been there. You have the only drums that we can hear in the next hall with the door closed. And we use thicker shells. And it does make a difference. A thicker shell is going to project more. If you think of a cannon.
Right.
If a cannon had a really thin wall to it, the cannonball going through it would probably shatter.
It would destroy.
Right.
The
But you're getting that big boom, and it's got that thick, rigid sound chamber that it's shooting out of, right? It's going to add volume to it. It just does. It's just the nature of the beast.
Remember, you can't have a thin drum shell doing this,
And drum
the
heads doing
this.
Then you get distortion. It just can't be. You can't have all this. And proof of the pudding of that would be Premier Resonator drums. They had an inner shell.
Yeah, an inner
right?
shell.
It didn't sound very good.
Right, right.
Guys are always taking Premier Resonators saying, pull those things out of there.
Right. Right.
Just make it a drum shell. It really didn't work. And if a thinner shell really did make a better sounding drum, then everyone in the world would still be playing PV drums, right?
That's true.
They were super thin.
They were super thin,
three
thin ply.
thin ply.
Yeah.
I mean, what made those drums good, really cool and unique was the radial bridge.
Right.
Gave it its attack and its character.
Right.
But the thinness of the shell,
Right.
It could have had a thicker shell and would have projected more.
Yeah. And basically, thin shells. If you're in a recording studio and you have everything close to
Mic'd. It's a near field instrument.
Yeah, and again, if you're playing in your bedroom and you're sitting on top of everything, it sounds great. But when you're outside, even, or if you're playing a concert hall, and it won't transfer. It just won't project.
And we don't want you to have to work so hard when you're playing. Save that energy. Use it for your articulation. Play it musically.
Yeah, the response, I think, my opinion, is the response on a thicker ply shell is a lot faster because you have a rigid shell for that drum head to rest on. So the response is a lot quicker.
So we feel that we're talking from experience. I mean, we've been doing this a very long time. We've been making drums since 2001 as Ford Drum Company. Jimmy was making drums long before that.
Yeah.
I was doing the marketing for drum companies such as Gretsch, Legend Drums, Toka Percussion, Hamer Guitars, I mean, on and on and on. For a long time, I learned a lot about the physics of an instrument. We kind of think we know what we're talking about after all this. Guys are welcome to disagree with us at any point. We get that. We appreciate that.
That's fine. That's
The insults on online. Okay, we know it's the internet and it's freedom of speech and you're free to say anything you want. The idea wasn't to insult anybody. It was just to share with you our knowledge, our experience, and our beliefs in drum building and why we do what we do.
right.
So, again, we didn't want to offend anybody. We just wanted to inform and educate.
That's correct.
Jimmy, you're an amazing drum builder. You're an
Thank
amazing
you.
partner.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
Love you, man.
I love
Likewise.
you.
This
You know?
is fun.
We've been doing this since 2001. Like I said, we started right after 9/11, which was not a great time to start a drum company or any business, I suppose. But we continue to do it for the love of doing it. And
Yeah.
when we see guys sit down and they play our stuff, when I see Jimmy perform and the joy that he gets in playing an instrument like this, it makes it all worth it for us.
It's really a good feeling. It's nothing like it in the world. It really is. And we just are just so proud of what we do, and we just want to share it with you guys. You know, because we just enjoy the feedback when you finally sit down and play one of our instruments, or feedback on our cases. You know, it really is overwhelming. We really enjoy
Or our
it.
seats. Why do we make our seats the way? Well, we're going to do another video on the seats, but using authentic Swedish memory foam, the whole 50s vibe to it, the way the seat back fits in the small of your back so it doesn't hinder your playing as you're going around the kit. Guys tell us after an hour-long gig, they can get up without any fatigue.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 57.
I'm
Jimmy
53.
just had a birthday,
Yep.
by the way.
Yep.
So we're not kids anymore, and the longer we sit down and we play, yes, I play too. I know no one ever sees me play, but I do play.
He plays. Yes, he does. It's true.
When you're next to Jimmy Ford, it's like, nah.
Well, thank you. I
But
appreciate that. Thank you.
when you're playing a gig, you want to be able to get up after that gig and say, you know what, I feel okay. I feel pretty good. I'm not stressing. My back doesn't hurt. So we'll do
That's
a whole
right.
video on the seats and why we developed the line of seats the way we did.
Even though the bass player was dragging.
Yeah.
Or rushing.
All right, so that's our little commentary after posting that video on Drum Shell Myths. And again, thank you for watching it. For all those that shared it, thank you. For all those that believe in what we're doing, thank you for being there for us. One thing we hear a lot is someday I hope to have a Ford snare drum, or someday I hope to have a Ford drum
Well,
set.
today is the day.
Today's the day because
Yeah.
we want to be here someday. So in order for us to be here someday has to be now for somebody.
If you guys have any questions, or you have any comments, or you're stumped on something, feel free to call us. Contact us on our website.
Hey, we talk drums all day long. We love
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah, we really enjoy it.
Of course, if we got to get in the shop and get some work done, we'll tell you. But anytime you want to call and talk to us, please feel free.
Speaking of which, we got to get to the shop.
We got to get to the shop.
Thanks, guys.
Over and out.